so. Oops. Hate to say I told you so. But Vlad, we said when it comes to Jimmy Butler, history don't lie. People came to us. Oh no, he's heat culture. He was just stuck in bad positions. That's why he always non-acrimoniously left teams. That's why the Bulls got rid of him. That's why the Minnesota Timberwolves got rid of him. That's why the 76ers chose Tobias Harris. It's not going to happen here in Miami. And Vlad, you and I said it in the offseason. History and time don't lie. And lo and behold, what's happening again? If you don't pay attention to history, you are condemned to repeat it. Jimmy Butler and the Heat, not on good terms. And I can't say we didn't see it, Vlad. I didn't see it this bad. I thought they'd figure out the rest of this season, but it looks like this is a relationship that may not be able to be mended and fixed. I'm very, very, very concerned about what's going to happen to this Heat team. There's going to be a lot of options supposedly available, but it is nasty. Nasty work, Vlad.
I told you guys this.
We said it. The reason I said it, you said it because you said it's going to happen. I said it's going to happen because I believe history. It's happened before. It's happened over and over again. It's happening again.
They didn't have to be history. It just had to be the simple fact that it's time. It's time. Guys like Jimmy Butler,
they have an expiration date.
Exactly, bro. They're like Jim Harbaugh. They're like Larry Brown. And I told you this. Who did I compare Jimmy to down here?
Tyreek Hill.
They have an expiration date. It's when the success and talent, how long does that last until the headaches and the antics start getting to the point where you don't want to deal with it? And it's gotten to that point. And it's tough because if you look at this team with Jimmy and with this team, the culture and everything, you always feel like you have a chance if they're healthy, but they haven't been healthy. And he wants his money. That's great. But I can understand Pat not wanting to give him the money. To me, here's what I was thinking about when everything's been going on. He has a playing option next year for 52
million.
He wants 60, right? At least 60 plus. Give him 2 years, like meet in the middle, 56. How about 2 years, 112? Room 112, where all the players dwell. What about 2 years, 112?
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little something if you don't already know about Pat Riley, and maybe some people don't want to talk about it. He don't like to be told what to do. He likes it his way or the highway. And lo and behold, what's about to happen?
But guess what? If you want to look at it in the people who's on Team Jimmy or team players, every time he's done that, it hasn't really worked out. It hasn't worked out since the Big Three era.
Right.
Bron left. But Bron, Bron was leaving because he saw the status of the team. And he didn't believe that Riley was going to be able, or the team, I don't want to say Riley, but the team would be able to get the right players to continue their run. Fine. It was a great decision by him. He let D Wade go. Say what you want. But it was the right move financially. He just gave the money to maybe some of the wrong people, like Hassan Whiteside and everything like that.
Happens.
But the Jimmy situation, I think this is what happened. I think a lot changed the fact that the way Tyler ended last season and the postseason and the season that he's having now, I think it changed the dynamic where you really do see a young nucleus of Bam, Tyler, maybe Nico, Jaime. Like you could see that maybe this run, and remember, Riley's all about 5 years with a core, and this core is going on in 6th year, and it's expired, bro. The expiration date for this core has expired, so it's time to move on, to reload.
Tyler Hero and his play is a major reason why Jimmy Butler is in the situation that he is. Because if Tyler Hero weren't playing the way he was, or he is, Jimmy could demand more. The fan base would demand more. But because Tyler Hero now seems to be the best scorer on the team, and Bam now seems to be the leader of the team, What are you paying Jimmy Butler all this money for, especially if he's not going to play that much? Start saying, And we saw it in the offseason. Pat Riley said Jimmy needs to shut up and play more. Jimmy kept his mouth shut, and we said there's two ways this thing can go. Jimmy's actually going to fall in line, play more, keep his mouth shut, and focus on basketball, or Jimmy's going to passively, aggressively bum out.
This is not, and then like this whole like first of all, it's his first 2 games back, right? So you've been gone for a week. Remember, mind you, let's go back. Let's go back. When he sprained his ankle and all of a sudden was sick, come on, man. I said it right then and there. I came out like, bro, he was sick all of a sudden. Like, if you're gonna sick, you're not gonna start the game.
You saw it at the beginning of the season when he came out and didn't score a lot. He wasn't very aggressive.
But not even that. And then he would show you games where he
could ball out.
He would ball out. But fine, all right, cool.
He was putting that tape together.
And all these times we're hearing, Shams and Shams is not. Listen, man,
he ain't lying.
Fam, let me tell you something about this media thing. When you replace a legend and you go into the 4-letter, you can't come out. Your first story out the gate can't be something that can be proven wrong. Okay? And that's something that's also been a little common with the Heat. Anytime there's a rumor with the Miami Heat, one side says something and another side says the opposite thing. And whatever the other side said is usually right. So when Shams was coming out saying all this stuff, we were hearing, no, it's not true. It's not true. And what did I tell you, Dan?
He's not true.
I was like, he's not coming out saying this without somebody in the know letting him know what's going on.
He could honestly, especially with it being early in his career with ESPN, honestly lose his job over misreporting.
Especially after you replacing Woj, right?
Yeah.
So then I said, he's probably getting it from Jimmy's agent.
Yeah, that's exactly where he's getting it.
He's getting everything from Jimmy's agent.
Because
this is so WWE, such a heel tactic. That's what was going on.
Man, 2 big egos, Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler.
And then all of a sudden Jimmy comes out and Jimmy's doing what the Jimmy antics he did in Minnesota, the Jimmy antics he did in Philadelphia. Dude, Leopard's not gonna change his spots, bro.
No. We know
he is what he is.
We said it for a while. We said, look, if you're thinking things are different, and I know you believe in Heat culture and Jimmy's Heat culture, and no. We said history repeats itself. History is history, like you said. A cheetah has its spots. And I would say this, Vlad, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would say 65 to 75% of the Miami Heat fan base is on the side of the team and not so much on Jimmy.
No, I think it's split down the middle,
really?
Bro. Yes. I think this is like a John, let's go Cena sucks type of thing. Like, let's go Jimmy, Riley, let's go Riles.
305-567-0560, the number to text in. Let us know whose side you are on. Also, you can jump on the YouTube and Twitch, 560 WQAM. Let us know if you're Team Jimmy or Team Riley as we get to the headlines. Ooh, let's talk about the first headline. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Jimmy Butler suspended 7 games by the Heat for conduct detrimental to the team. Miami hosts Utah tonight at 8.
7 games?
Let's talk about this. So, Vlad, I went to the game against the Pelicans.
Yes, I was going to ask you. I saw the pictures on social media and IG. You and your girl went out. It looked like you were having a good time with your girl and seeing a basketball game. Unfortunately, your Pelicans is the most talented 5-24 team I've ever seen. That's stink.
They're absolute garbage.
But they have good players.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all that.
But all right, yeah, we're locally down here.
So I'm sitting down there. I had good seats, and I spent a ton of money. Man, the concessions. They should have given Jimmy the extension with the money the concessions cost at the Kaseya Center. Goodness. Nonetheless, I'm sitting there, not really paying attention to warm-ups, trying to get acclimated, and I heard, oh, Jimmy Butler's warming up. I said, no. I saw him warm up. And dude, he was as checked out. And I know he could have been ramping up and all, he's been off for 13 days. He was as checked out as I had ever seen a player. At points, I forgot he was playing. And I had to remind myself, oh yeah, Jimmy Butler's still playing. He was so checked out that game. And I know it was a meaningless game. And like I said, he was ramping up. But man, you could tell he did not care. And now we know why he didn't care that much because, Jimmy Butler, it was bad, Vlad. It was very, very bad.
And he was listen, guys, he's been letting you know this, even with the answers that he's been giving, the facial expressions, he's letting you know that it was time. It was done to.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if they do trade him. what they're going to get for him, because now, of course, the new player empowerment, they know that he doesn't want to play and he won't play, and now they can they can mortgage down a little bit. Which, if I'm a GM, I'll do it. Joe
Okay.
Cronin, man, we should have traded.
So
Jimmy
here's
Butler
the funny
thing.
thing.
We could have had Damian Lillard, bro. We should have traded Jimmy.
And this is where,
damn it.
And this is where the people are looking at Riles different. You know, that this is the people who've seen Jimmy or against Pat Riley, because they said they're looking at the fact that they didn't get Dame Lillard last year, and with superstars on this team, there's been a history of them leaving in a not a cordial way. It's not, not an amicable way. It's always been some type of drama. And the fact, but here's one thing, like Jimmy it went from certain teams, now he wants to be traded to any team other than Miami. Well, it's like, well, yeah, if you want to go to any other team, clearly you don't want to be in Miami. That's the team you're in. So,
and then he tried to save a little bit of face because he knows you don't want to be there. He goes, I love living down here. I just don't like playing with the team. No, go. No. We don't want you if you're going to be like that.
Now, you can't say, now it's not the teammates, but I just think the teammates are done with it. That's why I think right now it's starting to affect the team, and I think that's why.
Yeah, you saw Tyler the other night and the way it affected his game against the Indiana Pacers. Not as effective, not as many shots.
Well, I didn't know it was because of Jimmy, because he played with Jimmy the night before and they blew out the Pelicans. So
that was Jimmy checked out, not playing at all.
Right. So I just think they just lost to the Pacers because they just lost to the Pacers.
Because they've been a 500 team all year, so they win one, lose one, win one,
right.
lose one. Is that the real? You want to call it keep it a buck?
If we're going to keep it a buck, they were going to be that with Jimmy or without Jimmy. Right. They are right now either, if they get their act with Jimmy, if they got their act together, Jimmy was really in for the season for the team, you still could battle. You could be one of the top 6 teams.
Yeah, easy.
If you trade Jimmy, depending what you get back on who he goes to and what the package is that is brought back to Miami, you still could probably be the same thing. Maybe 5th, 6th, or playing team. But the fact of the matter is that the fans are gonna look, without Jimmy, you don't have that name, that status. So you're going to feel like you're going to be going, down to the pack. You're going to be mediocre or always battling for playing because of the team, because the team doesn't have a, I guess, certified superstar. But who knows? Let's see what, Boy Wonder's doing this year, because he's playing like an all-star. But if we're really looking at this team, yeah, we're looking at the Jimmy trouble, the Jimmy drama. But there's really one player. There's a player who's not playing up to his level. And this is why they think the team is struggling. And it's on Bam, the captain.
Bam's been down this year.
So I think if you're looking on Jimmy's side, you paid Bam, you paid number 2. Number 3's already been paid already, and you're giving him more of the offense. And I'm the guy who's been,
the leader and the
head of the
alpha,
the head of 3 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, 2 NBA final appearances, and
man, just hindsight being 2020, we could have traded Jimmy Butler for Damian Lillard. Dog.
Who? When?
A while back. We could have swung that, man. We thought that would have been a rotten trade. See now. All right, speaking of rotten, the Jets defensive back Sauce Gardner will not play tomorrow with a bad hamstring. The Dolphins, they do face the Jets at 4:25.
4 more quarters, baby.
4 more quarters and get that draft pick ready. Dolphins, though, hey, look, crazy. I'm just going to say this. Crazier things have happened than the Broncos with everything to play for at home, losing.
Here's the thing.
To the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad.
Here's the thing. I think
crazier things
have happened, but I think there is a collusion among AFC head coaches to make sure Joe Burrow is not in the AFC playoffs.
Hey, I'm not doing this again, Vlad.
So
we've done it all year long. When's the Bengals going to be the Bengals? When are they going to start playing good? I don't think they have it in them this year.
I don't think they want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
No.
So therefore, if the Bengals beat the Steelers tonight, because that's what. Listen, Bengals beat the Steelers beat the Bengals, then you know that everything is all about Miami and Denver. I mean, it's still all about Miami and Denver, but if the Dolphins lose and the Broncos lose, that's the only way the Bengals get in. But Broncos and Chiefs. And here's what I hear. Carson Wentz is only playing a half.
Oh my goodness. This is really the practice squad.
Yeah, the third string guy is playing the second half. Because I don't think Mahomes is even dressing. I think Mahomes not dressing.
Kelsey, Mahomes,
Chris Jones is not even playing. McDuffie might not play.
Nobody's playing. I wouldn't play him either.
And by the way, if they win, you know how. By the way, if they win, if the Chiefs win,
it's gonna happen.
If the Chiefs win, they'll be the craziest 16-1 team I've ever seen in my life.
It seems like they just squeaked by all 16.
Because then you're gonna really think about that Buffalo loss. And it's like they could have won that game. They could have won that game. Like they could have won that game. But hey, Snoop Huntley played very well in the second half of last week against Cleveland. We'll see. My team has been abysmal, a train wreck. Do they have any, testicular fortitude to show up and earn their paycheck tomorrow? But we're all going to be scoreboard watching to see the Chiefs going into Denver. This is Sean. I'm sorry, bro. I think the Broncos are going to win big tomorrow.
I think they should take care of business. They're not overlooking this game. That's for sure. And they got Sean Payton. The only worry you hope Bo Nix craps the bed. He's a rookie. He's got a lot on the line.
I'm gonna let you know right now. When Baltimore beats Cleveland today, and Baltimore wins the AFC North, that means Pittsburgh is automatically going to be the 5th seed.
So they don't care. They don't have anything to play for.
They have nothing to play for because they got the tiebreak over the Chargers because they beat them in head-to-head. So they finish with the same record.
Cincinnati has everything to play for, and they have Joe Burrow, who should be MVP, but he doesn't have a good enough record.
That MVP's going to be tough.
Should be Saquon Barkley, but it's going to be Josh
Allen.
It
could be any one of those four gentlemen, bro.
Josh Allen.
Anyone. Lamar.
It will be Josh,
Saquon. But Burrow's putting up great numbers. But here's the thing. Broncos, Chiefs, Jets, Dolphins. They putting in both teams at the same time. If you're the Dolphins and you start seeing like a 17-0 lead with the Broncos.
Snoop-a-loop.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you see that the game's getting out of 24-0, what do you do?
And then here's the thing.
No, they're going for the winning season.
By the way,
save the job.
Do you really want to win? Yes. But you know who do you face if you win?
That's okay. We'll take Buffalo. Let's go. With Snoop Huntley, most likely. Let's go.
In the snow?
Let's go. I want it.
No, it ain't going to be Snoop.
Again, Tua said he's going to play no matter what.
By the way, now if Snoop beats the Jets and plays well.
That's hilarious.
Plays well. Do you have him going? And then you guys do get in the wild card? Do you have Snoop start?
No. That is a no. Couple quick headlines, though. The Hurricanes basketball team, they're in Blacksburg, Virginia, take on Virginia Tech at 2 o'clock. Pregame starts right here on 560 WQAM at 1:30. The Hurricanes football team got a commitment from TCU center James Brockermeyer, offensive line. Did you hear Lionel Messi? Brockermeyer.
Oh, Brockermeyer. Yeah. Brockermeyer, not Brockmeyer's son.
No, Brockermeyer.
Yeah.
ER. Did you hear about this? What a crazy night for the Messi household. Lionel Messi, along with Magic Johnson, going to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom at the White House tonight.
Who did Messi lead to freedom?
I guess he came to this country. He's an immigrant, He's living.
What? He led Apple TV to $1 billion freedom?
He's an entrepreneur. Hey, man. He loves this country.
Entrepreneur.
He loves this
country.
What
theater is he open?
He loves this country.
What theater is he open?
What is he? He's got the Adidas. He and his wife had that Adidas.
I get it.
Apple.
I get why Magic is getting this.
Magic owns like TGI Fridays and stuff like that.
I think he owned this. Like, did he own Starbucks at the time? I don't know. Magic was all around there. Like, but Magic, I know he's an entrepreneur. Messi?
He's got his own industry, his business. It's the business of being messy. Millions of dollars.
That's what you did there.
Panthers won in a shootout last night against the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2. Next up, the Colorado Avalanche Monday at 9. And those two NFL games today, 4:30, Browns, Ravens. Ugh. And then at 8, Bengals, Steelers. That should be interesting. Speaking of interesting, let's go ahead and take a step into the day spa. A study shows that pooping before doing something mentally taxing is good for your health.
Absolutely.
I would believe that, yes. I don't think you need a study to prove that.
If you're gonna deal with some crap, you might as well release some crap.
That's the best way you could put it. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit about that Heat Pelicans game that I went to, talk a little bit more Jimmy, Dolphins playoff talk, and then later in the hour, Daniel Solana going to be joining us.
Everyone's favorite Solana.
We'll be back after this on 560 WQAM. Back on Sports Day 560 WQAM. We're going to be on till 1:30. Then Joe Zagacki going to take over for the Hurricanes basketball game. Real quick, if you are watching on YouTube and Twitch, and maybe you're just listening, I'm wearing an Urban South Brewery shirt in honor of New Orleans. I wouldn't want to wear my Pelicans jersey today because all the stuff going on with Jimmy Butler, but I was wearing this in honor of what happened in New Orleans on New Year's Eve. And if you've ever been to New Orleans, you've been on the corner where the incident happened, which is Canal Street and Bourbon Street. It's the opening to Bourbon Street. I know, Vlad, if you've ever been there, 99% of the people have been there. And I have been on that corner probably, and of course I was born and raised in New Orleans. It made me who I am today. I've been on that corner over 1,000 times in my life, and many a times on New Year's Eve celebrating on Bourbon Street and going to Jack's Brewery for the ball drop. And unfortunately, a terrorist decided to drive their car over and kill over 10 people, and there was explosives in the car, and it was a terrorist act, and it really, really hit home. And I wish the best, and I pray and hope for everybody that was involved and hurt or just even involved in the situation. It's unsettling. Big Lynn even called me up that night, or the next day, kind of talk about the whole situation. Luckily, she wasn't partying on Bourbon Street. Only reason why, because nobody was buying. If I was buying, she would come. But New Orleans is a survivor of city. Katrina couldn't stop us. Cajun people have been, like many of us, like Vlad, that are Creole. They've had people that have tried to get rid of us, but we don't go away. And New Orleans is going to survive. And as I went to the game, I want to give Heat fans a lot of credit. That night, I was at the game wearing my Pelicans gear. And of course, the Pelicans are god-awful in basketball, but nobody was giving me a hard time. And a lot of people even walked up and just said, hey, much love, support for your city and for everything. I said, well, I'm a Miami guy now, but I appreciated it. It was really, really a nice gesture by all the Heat fans. And then the Pelicans didn't give them any reason to give me hard times either because they were really, really bad. But it was a good game, Vlad. And Jimmy Butler looked checked out. Tyler Hero got whatever he wanted at any time. And although the Pelicans have a good roster on paper, they are not very good. No, I'm not going to say they're not very good. They're bad. They're bad, Vlad. I watched it. Bad.
What are you going to do? You know who is very disappointing on that team?
You know who they should try to trade for?
Murray.
DeJounte Murray looked like
I've always thought
like a sub.
I've had so much hope for this kid. Like, this guy is a 6'4", lanky, 6'5" defender. He could play defense. He can get his shot. Like, he can get to the hole. Pause. You know what I mean? He can get to the lane. And it seems like ever since he left Pop,
that's crazy.
He went to Atlanta. It didn't work out with Trey, and everybody thought it was Trey Young's fault, and it wasn't. If you see how good the Atlanta's played, and then now he's with New Orleans with CJ. And listen, man, Fatty McDunks is the reason why your team is not going to be good. And I don't like to hear the rumor about Fatty McDunks coming to Miami, even though it'd probably be a great fit. But like, like our people, like our friends on Tobin and Leroy would say, him going to, being in Astron City, going around with all the adult nightclubs and everything like that might not be a good look, and all this great food that he'll be around.
Miami will keep you healthy, though, man. I know
the Heat will keep you healthy, but it's what you do in the off season that's what I'm worried about.
Seeing your naked body on the beach, yeah, you lose a little bit of weight, man. Like me being.
But yeah, man, it was very interesting. It was a good game. I thought it was a good game for the Heat start the new year. That the Heat came out and they played well, and it was the first game back, but it was a noticeable. You noticed something out the gate in that first game back, and it was like, okay, he's starting. Not even he started. It's like, oh, all right, the snowball's rolling now. It's gaining some momentum.
Yeah,
it's gaining some momentum.
I would say this, and my favorite player in the NBA is Brandon Ingram, but it doesn't look like Brandon Ingram's long for the New Orleans Pelicans. It would not be the worst trade for Miami to in some way trade Jimmy Butler and get Brandon Ingram, a guy that can get you 22, 24 points a game. He's long, plays hard when he plays. I think it would be a good trade. I'm all for it because I think it would be great for the Heat. I think he can get you his instant points. He's just a bucket, man. And he plays hard on both ends.
So now this is the point where we at right now. Where would you want to trade Jimmy to get the best assets back, the best trade value back?
I think the best place to go is with Brandon Ingram. Everybody wins. But Jimmy would hate it, but
he's a free agent in 2025, says Luis Benito.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. And even if you trade Jimmy, it's not like you have $43 million, like $48 million available. You're just $48 million. You're not 40 million, like you're not under the cap. You know what I'm saying? You just have $48 million available for you to sign like a couple of players, but it's not like you have $48 million to just sign like one player.
If you could swing Jimmy Butler and somebody, whatever.
Guys, you do not want Bradley Beal. I'm sick and tired of this Bradley Beal.
You
Okay?
want a bum?
Phoenix doesn't even want
bum
Bradley
back,
Beal.
Yeah, bum back Bradley Beal. You know, and I know, look at his lifetime stats. I'm not doing all that. You know, you don't want Bradley Beal. But man, if you could swing some way to get a Brandon Ingram and maybe throw in a Jose Alvarado, whoo, man, that'd be a team right there.
I don't know about that.
I mean, the Pelicans, whatever, but they just don't. I mean, well, they trade one free agent for another free agent, so I guess it's just one of those things. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Jimmy Butler. Oh man, the Dolphins tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest. My heart says they're gonna find a way to get into the playoffs and that the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna win. But my brain says, man, Denver, there's no way Denver is gonna get beat. Is there? Is there?
You know, this is a I don't want to sound like Tobin here. I'm not gonna say this on Mike McDaniel legacy game, but this game is big for Mike McDaniel.
I mean, they're gonna try to win so they can have a winning
record.
record.
I get it, but you can't lose to the Jets, bro. The Jets are crappy. All right, my team is crappy.
And Sauce Gardner's not playing. And Aaron Rodgers, the second he throws that 500 touchdown pass to Devontae Adams, whoop!
Yeah, he's gonna be gone.
Whoop!
And we'll have Tyrod will probably play the rest of the game. So yeah, this is a game the Dolphins should win. Now, the fact of the matter is, I feel and believe the Broncos will win. And then if that happens, you're gonna start looking at some of the losses. This is what's going to happen with Dolphins fans. This is what's gonna torment them. You're gonna look back at the season if they finish 9-8 and they're a game behind. They lost
the Broncos.
to the Broncos. You're gonna look at the loss to Indianapolis.
No.
You're gonna look at the loss to Arizona.
No.
You know
who you're gonna look at. You know the loss that cost us.
Which one? Houston?
For the second year in a row on Monday Night Football.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Right. You're gonna look at the backup quarterback situation.
No.
Those games that Skyler played.
No. Well, we weren't gonna beat Seattle.
But you can't be. But remember, they started Snoop after Skyler, right?
Right.
And Snoop struggled in the beginning.
Absolutely.
And then now he's playing well right now. So you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna look back at a lot just to say that, but that we could have gotten the playoffs. But even if you got in the playoffs, you know that you're not able to compete with the Buffaloes, the Baltimores, and Kansas Cities.
I want my shot. I want my shot.
To get embarrassed again?
Who says we're gonna get embarrassed?
Oh my God.
We're a team that's playing for our lives.
Your quarterback now has a hip problem.
He's always had a hip problem.
Damn.
It's just gotten worse.
Okay. He never has a concussion problem. Now he has a hip problem again?
We've got quarterback problems. We've got
Jimmy problems.
Guard problems. We got some problems. But next, we don't have a problem. Daniel Solana, season ticket holder for the Heat and lifelong Dolphins fan. 305 till he dies. I saw him at the Heat Pelicans game. We're going to talk about all that next here on Sports Day 560 WQAM.
Hey, it's Solana. Join us for Game Day Uncensored as the Dolphins' postseason hopes are on
by 60 WQAM, South Florida. I am Dan Day along with my cousin Vladimir Lewis on. It's 2025. I rang in the new year by going to see my two favorite teams play, the New Orleans Pelicans and the Miami Heat. The Heat were by far the superior team. During the halftime of the game, I was walking around, milling around with the peeps, and I ran into a guy who has season tickets to the Miami Heat. And before we get into what he thinks about the Jimmy Butler situation and Lionel Messi getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom tonight, I have to ask you one burning question, Daniel Solana. What in the hell were you in such a hurry for when I saw you at halftime of the game the other day? Unmute your mic and tell us.
I was with my family. I was with my father-in-law, my brother-in-laws, and they had bought us some food. And I was hungry, Dan. I was hungry. I was trying to get out to the East Plaza and enjoy the Hanukkah or the Jewish Heritage Night. It was an awesome concert there, and my brother-in-laws, my father-in-law were there. They had a little table for us. They bought the food. So, look, I wanted to talk a little bit more with you, Dan, but the stomach was growling, and I had to go and get the munch on.
I was going to go put on a sideshow, man. Like, we're going to do a sports day at night over at the stadium, and we're going to call Vlad and bone him in. It was awesome, man. But, yeah, I understood. You said, I'm in a hurry for something, and I was kind of, whoa, what's going on? And then, and then I told you the Pelicans are god-awful, so you just agreed and took off. So I was like, okay, new year, new Daniel Solana. We've been asking a lot of people, whose side are you on in this whole Jimmy Butler situation? I feel as though more of the fan base is on Pat Riley's side. Vlad thinks it's about 50-50. Number one, where do you stand, and what do you think the percentage is on taking sides?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm always going to stand by the Godfather. That's just who I am. I am a Miami Heat culture guy through and through, and I'm always going to stand by what the Godfather says and does. I swear and live by what Pat Riley does for this organization. So that's my opinion. I'm on Pat Riley's side, and I'm always going to be on his side. Now, in terms of the fan base, I mean, social media is absolutely 50-50. I think I'm with, if Vlad is the one that said it was 50-50, I'm with Vlad. I think it is 50-50. You got some folks on one side who, are mad at Pat because he didn't surround Jimmy with the players that he had been apparently asking for the last few seasons. But look, I think those are excuses. The Heat made it to 2 finals. One of them, they got unlucky and 2 of their players were injured in Bam and Goran Dragic in the bubble year. So, you get unlucky, then you get to another finals. And unfortunately, you go up against a team who was just a really terrible matchup in the Denver Nuggets. And it just didn't work out. But look, if you get to 2 finals in 5 years, you can't say you weren't surrounded by the right players. You clearly were surrounded and you got places. You just couldn't get to the mountaintop.
And now a lot of people are asking, like Tile Pax 30 on YouTube and Twitch, and I'm going to ask you, what would be a good deal to get for Jimmy Butler? Because it seems like eventually we're going to have to make that trade, but what would you like to get in return?
I mean, I personally, I think they have to trade him now. I don't think you can just kind of just send him home and wait until the summer. But Pat is very, very stubborn in how he deals with things. So we're going to have to wait and see what he does. Me personally, I would love, maybe a Kuminga and maybe Wiggins, or a Kuminga and Schroeder and picks, something like that. That would be good. Obviously if he goes to another team, the dream would be KD, right? I don't think that's going to happen, but the dream would be to get KD or some superstar back. But I just don't think with him coming out there and demanding a trade that you're going to be able to get the haul that you probably were had he not demanded the trade. So I think we're going to have to wait and see. But if you can get one really good player and some picks, I'd be happy with that. I think Tyler Hero is the next superstar. So I think you got to build around Tyler and Bam. And you got to build around my boy Kel'el Ware. 25 points the other night, played an entire fourth quarter. Loved what he, had to tell my brother at shoot around this morning. He told Solana that, he was happy that Spo let him play the fourth quarter because he allowed him to basically play through his mistakes, and he felt good. And I loved what I saw out of the young guy. So, look, I know fans are upset about Jimmy coming out and saying he wants to leave, but look at the bright side. We're going to get to see a lot of young players play for the rest of the season, and that gets me excited, man. Pele Larson gets me excited. Kel'el Ware gets me excited. Even the gentleman that went in the other day, Keldon Hamilton, I forget
Keldon Johnson.
Keldon Johnson. He went in the other day and he gave the Heat a spark in the fourth quarter in that awful game against Indiana. So I'm excited to see some of these other guys play. And to be honest, after those 2 games that I saw Jimmy just standing in the corner and not trying, I was ready to send him home as well.
See, this is what I like. You could tell that the Heat now has been an established franchise in the league, because what you're having is the 50-50 split. Die Hard from the inception, or from the, from the inception to the Miami Arena days, they're going to side with Riles. The Godfather's never done them wrong. They've seen the Godfather, from the beginning. The people that were born maybe during the Big Three era or after the Big Three era is going to side with Jimmy, because all they want is to be relevant, to be the it team, to be a team that's always competing, which they're always going to be. That's the Heat culture. They're always going to compete. But they side with Jimmy because Jimmy's their guy. They might have not even seen Wade.
I'm gonna give you an example. Vlad. Let's just throw it out there. The Heat have been relevant since the time that I've been born. From the day, maybe I was born in '85. They weren't relevant maybe the first 4 or 5 years, but after the Heat got Pat Riley,
come on, man.
I mean, you got some guys like Ronnie Cycli, Sherman Douglas, that played, and Bimbo Coles. I mean, some old names. So that were on the originals. But ever since Riley came, the Heat has been relevant. They've made the playoffs almost every single season since Pat Riley came.
No, you're right. But there was that little time.
There was.
What was that team?
There was the 02, the 01-02. The 01-02 year where you had Blake Ahern and you had guys like Stefan Lasmy on that team.
The Whiteside years wasn't relevant. You weren't relevant during the Whiteside years.
Of course you were. You made the playoffs. You were relevant. You weren't the it team. Everybody wasn't talking about you. But look, I'm going to compare to the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks. This is the first year.
The Knicks haven't been relevant in years. They just relevant because of the city market. But what I'm talking about is the fan base. You understand what I'm saying? The fan base.
But the Miami fan base has always been iffy one way or another. They're kind of a fair weather fan
base.
But
that's why there's a split between Team Riley. If you really I'm always team player, but I side with Riles on this, bro. Like, I really do. I understand the Heat's position in this. We've done this for 5 years, 4 or 5+. This would have been 6, but obviously you've checked out. You don't want to be here anymore. We wanted to try to do this one more time. And what's funny to me is the guy, that's why I love Tyler's reaction, because Tyler, who's been in every trade-off for the last 2-3 seasons, he came in this year, and we all can tell, look at how Tyler feels so relaxed, so comfortable. He's so mature now. He's just comfortable, and you can tell by his play, and that's why everybody's rooting for him to be an all-star. You could tell that the dynamic of the team has changed. The focus is no longer on 22. The focus is on 14, 13, and the other guys around them. And I don't blame them.
Well, I want to ask you this, and we'll put this into a real-life situation for both Vlad and Daniel Solana joining us right now. You're on a contract at your work, and your boss comes up and says, look, show up to work more and work hard, and we'll take care of you. Isn't that fair?
I mean, I do that every day when I go to work, Dan. I show up to work every day. I put in my hours. I put in my extra hours if I need to. I go above and beyond. That's what it is to make a commitment to an organization or to a franchise. And that's something that, unfortunately in sports, it happens a lot. Players get a little bit disgruntled. And if you don't cater to every single one of their needs, I want out. But that's BS, guys. I mean, if you guys want it out of your contract, I mean, you're gonna go somewhere else? No, I mean, they take care of you guys. You guys are enjoying it. So I don't know, man. You put in your hours. You put in your hours, and they take care of you.
Right.
I'll be out.
All right, but are you with me that the Heat,
like Joe Willie with the no leaving the Orange Bowl? I'm out.
If the Heat really do trade Jimmy Butler, it would behoove them to trade them to a Western Conference team and not so much an Eastern Conference team, because he's gunning for you.
No, it behooves them to get as much talent and assets back for Jimmy Butler. This is why they're both. This is what's upsetting about this. It's like everybody knew this was going to happen, and you knew this can happen. Like, you knew it can get to this petty level. So either come together for a compromise or come together for a trade before this even gets there.
Well, I thought Jimmy was a culture guy, Vlad. I thought Jimmy was a culture guy. Hold on, man. I thought he was a culture guy like Zoe, like UD, and like some of these other guys.
And you know
that,
what?
that- that
And you
have
know what? If
come,
I'm Jimmy,
and he proved me wrong. He proved
guess
me
what?
wrong. He is
And now,
not
if
a
I
culture
want to
guy.
be team, and this is why, if I want to be team Jimmy, yeah, I thought Dwayne Wade was a culture guy, and look what
He
you
wasn't.
treated, how you treated.
He wasn't.
Look how
I'll
you
be
treated
honest with
Dwayne
you.
Wade.
Look, hey,
Dwayne Wade wasn't a culture guy.
Heck no. He left for more money somewhere else. He is not a culture guy.
Oh my God!
And I'm gonna get burned. But hey, you can ask Solana. You can ask my brother Solana. The day Dwayne Wade came back in a Chicago Bulls uniform to the American Airlines Arena, which it was at that time, I booed him.
Whoa, you booed Dwayne Wade in a Chicago Bulls uniform. I would think if you think of the Miami Heat, there's a statue outside. It's D Wade. D Wade is the Miami.
And look
Heat.
what they did. And at that time, D Wade thought they did him dirty.
But they did it because he left for $2 million more because he was going to get charged. He was going to get charged state tax in Illinois, city tax in
he was done. He was done dirty.
He was not done dirty. He was just mad that the Heat signed Whiteside before they signed him. And honestly, as a veteran,
and isn't that
no, that's not dirty because Whiteside was 25 years old at the time. No, sir.
And isn't that kind of similar with Jimmy right now? They signed Bam before they signed him. That's how Jimmy looked at it.
You want Jimmy 38 years old playing on a $58 million contract?
And this is where I side. I could understand at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line, and I can understand Riles and the Heat brass saying this. Like this, to me, this is it. He's opting for $52 million if he wanted to next season, but he wants 60. Meet somewhere in the middle. 55, 55, 56. I was about to say 55 like I'm back in New York. 55, 56 million for 2 years. What's up? 2 years, 112.
I still don't want him for that much. And Riles challenged him just the way Riles challenged Butler just like he challenged LeBron.
Then. So then you were done with Jimmy regardless after this season.
I was done with Jimmy after Pat. Yeah, I was done with Jimmy after the summer when Pat Riley came out and challenged him, and he didn't show up. I was done. I knew it after week 1, week 2, when he wasn't showing up, that was over. My time with Jimmy was over. He's not a culture guy. Pat Riley challenged him like he challenged LeBron, and both of them were cowards and tried to leave Miami. There it is.
LeBron was a coward. I mean,
he's a coward. He's a coward. He's a coward. He chose the easy way out instead of the culture.
Now we know that Jimmy Butler was being passive aggressive, Jimmy, because at first I thought maybe he is going to shut up and do what he needs to do and he's going to get his money. But no, now we know that's why he was we knew why he showed up late to media day and all this other stuff. But this is one thing that this situation, I think, has gotten us to. For anybody that thought Jimmy was a Heat culture guy, a Heat lifer, and that they would one day possibly retire his number, out the window as any talks. This situation that Jimmy Butler will ever have his number retired.
You guys want a hot take?
They retired Joe's number.
Give me a hot take.
Best 22 in a Heat uniform, James Jones.
No. Stop.
They're not retiring Jimmy Butler's number, especially now.
All right, let me ask you this, though. But somebody from 305 just also added another name. It always, with my point, it always seems like it ends nasty with Heat superstars and Riles.
Yeah, because Riles has got a big ego.
Like, his capo right now, Zoe, it ended nasty.
It didn't, though. It didn't. Zoe left.
Ended nasty.
It ended nasty because Zoe had a kidney issue and the Heat didn't want to pay him. And I understand that. But look, the second he got traded from New Jersey, from New Jersey to Toronto, and they let him loose, he was back in Miami. He was a culture guy through and through. He was sitting behind Shaq to win a championship. That's a culture guy.
Oh my God! Because so what? What? So when D Wade came back, he wasn't a culture guy.
Yeah, he went back into the culture.
Heck no! He went to Chicago. He went to Chicago, and then he went to go chase a ring in Cleveland. Dude, if you go to Cleveland, you're definitely not a culture guy. Whoever plays in Cleveland ain't a culture guy. Sorry.
Oh! Wait a minute. So James Jones is not a culture guy?
James Jones, huge culture guy.
But he went to Cleveland.
Yeah, he went to Cleveland.
Yeah. Look at you. Yo, don't let the Armani suits fool you all the time, guy. Don't let the slick hair always fool you. They both at fault. Riles at fault.
I'm going with the Riles look, baby. I'm going with the
Riles is at fault, and so is Jimmy.
They got big egos, and they couldn't get along. They're not getting along.
That's the thing, because they're both Riles said it himself. They're both similar people. They both have similar personalities. But they knew this was going to... My problem with both of them is this. And and everybody knew this. This is not going to work anymore. It's 5 years. Either cordially break up or manage the season and then let him go at the end of the season.
Well, I
But
think
if
that's
you-
what they tried to do, but
I think that's what they tried to
clearly,
do.
clearly the little stomach virus or whatever it was he was doing, over the
No,
last
because
week,
if you
and then the
really
last
wanted
couple
to tra-
games.
No, because Ross really wanted to let him go during the season. He could have let him go. After that whole speech and everybody was upset and you started hearing, then it should have been time to
I
get him
think
moving.
they initially wanted to make it through this season and then they would part ways. And then it just got to a point where we can't do it. Or maybe they will, but they probably got to it where, and Tyler playing well, the up-tempo offense, just everything going on. It just got to be too much. So we're going to wait and see. Daniel Solana, stick around. We're going to do one more segment before the Miami Hurricanes basketball game versus Virginia Tech. Speaking about a mess, we'll get to that after this. 560 WQAM.
champion Florida Panthers, the 5-time national championship winner Miami Hurricanes, Miami Hurricanes basketball, and Supporter Shield winners Inter Miami.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
I'm going to be with you for another 20 minutes or so here on Sports Day with Michael Guzan, Vladimir Lewis on Daniel Solana. I am Dan Day. Real timeline. Jimmy and Pat haven't seen eye to eye for a while. Pat tells him to shut up and play. Jimmy doesn't like it. Jimmy passively, aggressively kind of just shows up to play. Maybe something happens. Maybe something doesn't happen between he and Riley. Things start to escalate. Jimmy's agent tells Shams, hey, look, we want to trade. Pat Riley said, you ain't doing that to me. We are not trading him, trying to take the power back. It just keeps escalating, and now we're at the situation that we're at. That's just real talk. That's probably how things went down. Speaking of real talk, Daniel Solana, you warned me about this. I went to the Heat game the other night, all excited, having a good time, did some pre-gaming, ate some food, not buying concessions. Yeah, right. $17 nachos, $30 margarita, $19 beer. Ouch.
You got to go to Atlanta, baby. You got to go to Atlanta where they got those free refills and those $2.50 glizzies, those hot dogs, $2.50, man. But it's rough at the Heat Arena. Did you see? I don't know if you guys have been. I know, well, obviously you've been, Dan, but Vlad, I don't know if you've been yet this year. They opened a burger joint there. The one that opened right? Down in Wynwood. Yeah, a new burger joint. And dude, a burger, a fries, and a drink is $22.
No wonder you were running to eat during halftime the other day because you weren't paying someone else. That was a big bill, I'm sure.
Exactly. Now you know why I was in a hurry. I didn't want somebody to eat my burger because if not, I was going to end up with no food.
And then you'd have had to buy a $22 burger.
Exactly. So you know why I was in a hurry. Now you know why.
And with that being said,
I got to try that burger.
With that being said, I tell you, man, last $19 beer I ever buy, last $30 margarita I ever buy. In March, I'm going to the J Balvin concert there at the Kaseya Center. I'll be right back there, man. Paying it out, bro. Paying it out.
Oh, I got to teach you how to sneak in a little flask.
Oh, man. I can't wait for that J Balvin concert. But, man, Dolphins tomorrow have a supposedly big game. Hopefully it's a big game against the Jets. If they win and the Denver Broncos lose, they are in. My heart keeps saying the Dolphins are going to win tomorrow. I do think they're going to win no matter what tomorrow. But I have this feeling and this hope that the Broncos, even though it defies logic, the Broncos lose because years ago, the Green Bay Packers had sewn up the number 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers sat out. Matt Flynn goes in. They had nothing to play for. They played all their backups, and the Green Bay Packers hung 40 on some team. So crazier things have happened. Realistically, probably not. But hey, look, it's the NFL. You see the Giants go whoop up on the Indianapolis Colts. I have hope tomorrow, Splad. I have hope tomorrow, Daniel Solana. I have real hope.
I got hope too.
For a beatdown in the playoff?
I don't think we're going to get beat down in the playoffs either.
Buffalo's going to lay 40 on y'all.
No chance. Hey, I mean, maybe Buffalo, but look, tomorrow, I think the Dolphins proved last week that they can play in a cold weather game. It was a little cold last week.
It wasn't that cold, bro. It was nasty weather, but it wasn't cold. It was actually better than they expected.
Well, they were able to win that game. They're playing a Jets team who's essentially in complete shambles. Yeah, an Aaron Rodgers who hasn't looked that good all year. And look, you got to think that with Carson Wentz starting and his experience under Andy Reid, when they were together at Philadelphia, you gotta hope that he understands the offense well enough to be able to go and throw down some points in Denver.
Daniel, he's only playing a half.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
Matter.
He's only playing a half. Carson
Doesn't
Wentz
matter.
is only playing a half. What do you expect?
He expect him to drop 42?
He expect him to drop 42 points in one half?
You never know.
Cam Ward dropped 28 in one half.
That's Cam Ward against college. And I also saw him. Yeah. Cam Ward also dropped 21 points, and they lost, and the team lost.
Hey, no negative vibes, Lab. We're going into Sunday with a chance to get into the playoffs.
Man,
no negative vibes. Unless you want to talk negatively about Tua, that I'll accept. But
interesting that you bring that up. Any
no
validity.
negative vibes.
any validity to the conspiracy theorists that think Mike McDaniel possibly held
Absolutely.
Tua out last week and this week because he feels as though he has a better chance to win in cold, inclement weather with Snoop Huntley?
I'm not. I don't buy. I don't buy that. I'll sell on that. I'll sell on that rumor. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just legit think Tua's really injured, and he's been playing injured his entire career. I don't think that I've been
right.
Tua since day one. You can go back, look at my social media.
right.
You can talk to my brother. I've been against the Tua draft since day
But
one.
Daniel, okay, but
I
here's
was-
the thing. And this is where I'm upset with South Florida management. We were just talking about this in the break, Daniel. Kuzan, Solana. Me and Dan were talking about it, saying that, we've been saying all 2024 that you're going to get to a point with these two superstars in South Florida with their contracts, Tyreek Hill and Jimmy Butler, where I think right now, like I said, the allure and the talent and the luster of their talent has wore off, and you don't want to deal with the antics and all the shenanigans and everything that comes with it, all the drama that comes with it. And the difference between the Heat and the Dolphins, that Ross don't give one, he doesn't give a rat's ass about how you feel. He's gonna make his decision, and that's what it is. I think the Dolphins do. And the Dolphins, I think, jumped the gun and gave Tyreek that extension, which in the long run, I think they're gonna try to get rid of him so that they don't have to deal with the extension, right? So therefore, this is where the Tua haters can come at the Dolphins management, because you knew this guy already had a concussion problem. But yes, he did play one season without a full season. One of the four quarterbacks last year that played every game, including the postseason. But now he had the concussion this year, and then now the hip, which was the original injury that caused him to drop in that draft, which was the hip that delayed his
NFL debut,
and his NFL debut. He didn't start the first game of the season and stuff like that. He didn't start till the middle of the season against the Jets. No, he came in against the middle season against the Jets and then started the following week. But now his hip is messed up, and this is not. You can't. How bad is his hip that he's missing 2 weeks in a row? You know what I'm saying?
2 weeks in a row when the games are
Two
basically
vital games
to
on the
playoffs.
road. And what's going on right now is that you're seeing Snoop Huntley. Like, I was shocked last week that Tyreek caught every target that was thrown at him.
Well, they were good passes.
But
Snoop.
what are you talking about? But I understand that they were good passes. But he's dropped passes by the guy that he said is the most accurate passer that he played with. So this is what if they win, it's gonna be great.
Okay, can we trade Jimmy Butler for you to put your phone on silent, Vlad?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Goodness, I've heard it 1,000 times.
Well, all you got to do is just text me, bro. Calm down.
No,
relax.
Come on, man.
Relax. All you had to do is just tell me.
Well, no, I was trying to be nice about it, but
you could have texted me in the message, bro.
No.
Why not?
You have to. It's like Pat Riley. I'm calling you out publicly.
I can call you out.
My phone's on silent.
I can call you out for other things.
Oh, you got to watch out, Vlad. You might get traded. You might get traded.
You
might get traded for Jimmy. You might get traded for Jimmy, and I'm not talking about Jimmy Butler.
Oh, I'll walk out. Trust me.
Traded for Jimmy.
Trust me. I'll walk out. I'll leave. I'll let him do 4 hours dolo.
I can do that.
I know you can. I'll let him do 4 hours dolo. But it's different. But trust me, it's difficult.
Good.
Nah, yeah, damn, man. Like, geez.
I'll tell you this. You guys hear about the possible trade that the Dolphins tried to get Andy Dalton from the Carolina Panthers in week 3 after week 4 after Tua went down with the original concussion injury. And they offered picks and he ended up starting for Carolina for a couple weeks. Andy Dalton did. But I thought that was interesting that they actually tried to go for a veteran quarterback when Tua went down the first time. Had that had happened, would we see Andy Dalton continue to be starting the rest of the season? I don't know. And would the Dolphin season had been a little bit different? But I mean, now you kind of just, made the bed with Tua and you got to sleep in it, right? Unfortunately, you paid him all this money and, Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer are just going to have to eat it.
It seems like though Tua and as a backup, Snoop will be a viable backup now that he kind of knows the offense. So we'll see. But it's interesting. Tua can't. Not supposed to play this week, but he says if there's a playoff game, he will be available. How does he know he's going to be available with the hip issue? I mean, they don't have a little tick timer on your body that tells you when you're going to be able to do something. So what does that mean? Do we need to read into what that means? That he's not able to go this week, but he's able to go in 2 weeks from now?
I don't know. That's such a good question. I mean, obviously, if he's going to be sitting out for a month, you would have to, you'd have to guess that in a month with all the rehab that he's doing and all the coaches that, the reps that he's getting off the field, off practice and stuff, he's got to be ready, right? If he's got a month off. But I don't know, Dan. I mean, if he's not ready, then what do you do? What do you do going into next season if you're Chris Grier? Does Chris Grier get fired? If you're Stephen Ross, do you fire Chris Grier? Do you stick with Mike McDaniel? If you bring in a new GM, does he want to stick with Mike McDaniel? I don't know. So many questions. That's why tomorrow's game is so big, because I think if the Dolphins can sneak into the playoffs and they can put up a fight against, if it is Buffalo, then maybe you can argue a few things.
Oh my God.
Hey man, so much negativity, lad. I need to take you out for a beer and talk.
Here's why, because it's like you guys are delaying. It's as if you're delaying it's like you're delaying the inevitable.
But that's what Dolphins fans do, baby.
But why would you want to do that? Why put yourself through that? All season you're going like, oh, we're not making it. We don't have enough to compete with these teams. Okay, cool. The other teams that were beating you, like the Denver Broncos, and they started to slip, they started to fall. Okay, you started to win. But the game right there for you to win against Houston, you didn't play well, right? That game against Houston, if you beat Houston, you're not in this situation. If you beat Houston, right now you control your own destiny.
Look, crazier things have happened. I think the Dolphins can go into Buffalo, and I think they can win a
you
playoff.
Beat Tennessee, like Dan said. You would have controlled your own destiny.
The reason we're excited about possibly making the playoffs and playing in Buffalo, a team that hasn't lost at home all season long, is because any given Sunday.
Yeah,
Al
you can get your ass beat by 42.
Al Pacino said it. It's a game of inches. Anything can happen.
Hey, Willie Beeman ain't playing quarterback for you.
But Snoop Huntley might be.
Oh, please. That ain't no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, bro. Snoop Huntley keeps the girls, pleasing?
We're not doing that.
You never know how bad you'll lose, and you'll never know if you can win unless you play the game. That's what I'm saying. Let's go. Let's get another game.
No, because here's what's going to happen. You know what I don't want to hear? I'd rather hear it tomorrow than hear it the following week.
Not to change the subject, but did Inter Miami not lose to the 16th ranked team in the first round of the playoffs? So look, and that's different. I know it's a different sport, but hey, that's why I got to stay positive, because I've seen it in other sports.
I'm not going to take that from you, because both are football, right? And guess what? Miami won the first game. If there was like real football, Miami would have advanced. A couple of weeks ago, you said, oh, they got to change that wild card. Now you're going to try to use it for your point? Get out of here. What's wrong with y'all?
The last seed.
Y'all think I forget things?
No.
I'm a Solana, baby. You know that's how we do things.
We've seen 8 seeds. The New York Knicks, the Denver Nuggets beat number 1
series, and not one game. Those are series. The series, you can do that in one game. After what I've seen that the Miami Dolphins have shown me in the 13 meetings that they've gone against the Buffalo Bills, they've only won 1. Guess what? They're not going to go to we just said, the MVP's house in his chance of winning a Super Bowl as the 2 seed in cold-ass Buffalo, where they're probably going to ask fans to shovel the snow. Okay?
Hey, the Little Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Man, get the hell out of here with those Little Giants. Stop. You guys... Look at y'all.
Even if they beat us 99 times out of 100, you still got that one time, baby.
Stuff. Oh my God, y'all! Look at all the ish y'all talking right now. All of that, because you're thinking one shot, and then what happens when y'all lose? You're gonna rip the coach. You're gonna rip the quarterback. Yes, you are.
I'm just gonna be happy to make the playoffs.
And then when they lose, you're gonna do that. Oh, Chris Grier needs to do it. You're just delaying all the frustration for a week.
We've already been doing it all season. Everybody's been saying
No,
Chris
you
Pierce
haven't
gotta
all
go.
week. Well, you know what? You're right. Because one week is they got to get rid of them, but then it's like, you know what's going on. It's as if you know what this is with your fan base. It's as if this is the Riley and Jimmy situation. You know it's gonna end. How it's gonna end? You might as well end it, but you want to extend it.
Of course.
You want to extend it till then it gets to the nasty petty part.
It's
Party
like,
part.
It's like the old saying, it's cheaper to keep her. Sometimes we're better off together as a part.
Come
Although,
on, Vlad, let
I-
us be happy. I want y'all to be happy. I want y'all to be happy. It's good to be happy in 2025. Don't be happy with the remnants of 2024 because that's what's going to happen. This is why I think tomorrow's a big game for Mike McDaniel. Because say Denver does somehow lose the game.
Mhm.
Carson Wentz does some craziness, right?
Mhm.
For one half.
Mhm.
And then I don't even know who the quarterback number 3 is. Okay.
Could be you, Vlad.
could
You
be
might want to start stretching.
Say Jackson Mahomes comes out of nowhere, right? And he starts playing like, he's playing like his brother. That's who I think the quarterback number 3 for the Chiefs is. Might as well have been Jackson Mahomes, right? And the Broncos lose to the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's a close game at MetLife Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike McDaniel doesn't lead the Dolphins to a victory that could have gotten them into the playoffs. What is everybody's reaction? I want to know in the next couple of minutes that we have before we go to the University of Miami pregame show, men's basketball, because that can happen. What if Kansas City does beat Denver and Miami does lose to the Jets?
You want to know the funny part? The Kansas City Chiefs don't even have a third quarterback listed on their depth chart on their website. So I don't know what's going to happen in that second half tomorrow. It might end up being Jackson Mahomes coming in off of the sidelines to play in that second half. But Vlad, you have a great point. If by any means the Broncos lose that game and Mike McDaniel loses tomorrow, you got to fire him.
I was going to say, Vlad, say it. The streets need a body.
Oh, streets definitely going to need a body. That's what I'm saying. And then if they get in the playoffs, that's what I'm saying. Now you're in the playoffs and then you get obliterated.
Doesn't matter. You're safe.
How many times you going to be safe? That's 3 losses in the playoffs, first round.
Everybody's
obliteration.
Safe. If we make the playoffs, I'm telling you now, everybody's safe. Everybody might be safe no matter what. But yes, if you do go in tomorrow with a chance to win and be in and you don't, yeah, and Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel are going to be scared every time their cell phone rings, and rightfully so.
Kind of like Vlad was every time his cell phone was ringing in his text.
Hey man, I gotta get the men's game.
Vlad, what do you think about Lionel Messi getting the Presidential Medal of Honor? I mean,
what the hell did the man do? What honor did he do?
I don't know, but he's standing up there. He's standing up there next to Denzel Washington, Michael J. Fox,
Magic Johnson,
Jane Goodall, Magic Johnson, and some
what
other
did
names.
He do?
I don't know.
Okay, Michael J. Fox. He's been, he has a condition. He's been raising a lot of funds for that condition, right? Parkinson's, right? Okay, boom. Magic Johnson. Forget what Magic's done. We're not even talking about the athlete, the entrepreneur, the jobs and business and things that he's opened. Who's the other one? Denzel. Come on, Denzel. We know what he's done.
Immigrants made this country, Vlad.
What has Lionel Messi, besides sports, done for this country?
Lionel Messi is the GOAT.
What did he? If you're gonna give him a Medal of Honor for getting the World Cup 2026,
there you go.
Fine.
He's
That's
the
it.
GOAT.
Football America. All right, well, you guys are the GOAT. Vlad, have a great game with Joe Zagacki. They are next. It's going to be the Virginia Tech Hokies hosting our Miami Hurricanes. For Daniel Solana, for Michael Zan, Vladimir Lusa, I am Dan Day. This has been another edition of Sports Day on 560 WQAM.
Later fools.
Slug.
WQAM broadcasting live.